And my name is Bhavesh Vaghela. I'm the CEO of Singula Decisions. So we effectively help subscription-based businesses find and execute their perfect growth strategy.
Singula Decisions has a long history of working with sports businesses, offering subscriptions and pay-per-view. How have subscriptions changed over the years?
As you mentioned, we've been working with sports businesses, sports brands for the last 20 years, helping them launch in the UK and internationally, and really helping them manage their subscribers. And I would say, the disruption and the change that's happening in the last 5 years in particular points to a whole lot of change coming within the sports market. When you think about subscriptions, you think about entertainment subscriptions, you look at brands like Netflix, completely changed the way consumers interact with content. And I think the same drive is happening within the sports market. So, we can see, for example, that sports fans, when you look at fan engagement, are completely different in the way they want to consume the content. There's a lot of second screening going on. There's a lot more thirst for getting a lot more content. You've got the whole issue with the media rights, how the media rights going to split up. Is it, it's no longer the holy grail, as they say, to be on broadcast now, right? There's so many other ways to consume that content and to break your rights up. Then you've got technology advancements, right? I mean, you've got the ability to consume content on the mobile, and I think the vast majority of sports viewers is mobile first, right? So there's a huge amount of change in the way the consumer is demanding it. And of course, we've just seen it the last 6 months of COVID and the disruption that causes dramatically changes the landscape, not only for broadcasters, but sports rights holders, as well as then consumers. And that's a fundamental challenge for operators as they move forward.
What are the key drivers to create a successful sports business subscription?
People talk about content is king, and absolutely that's the case, right? You need to have the right content, whether that be the right, correct rights for your audience, for sure. However, I think that's only part of the equation. The reality is it's all about the overall customer experience. How do you build a brand around the sports content and the sports brand that you've got? The reality is actually sports subscribers and fans are a little bit more fickle. They don't particularly follow the brand, they follow the sport. So that's something that a broadcaster or a rights holder has to think about. Ultimately, again, seeing what we've seen over the last 3-4 months, the reality is it's about speed to market. It's about how quickly these brands can react. We had, the internet brands coming in and buying rights. And again, this just accelerated this. The idea of what am I going to do as a brand when I'm faced with different types of market conditions? So the reality, it's all about speed. How do you react to the market? And therefore, how do you react in terms of how you engage with your subscriber? Now, for us, our belief, and again, it comes from our background, because, as I said, we've been an outsourcer for so many years. So, we've run thousands of campaigns to manage subscribers. And in all that time, what we've realized, there's really 6 key metrics that really help you drive a successful subscription business. We call that the supply and demand. And that's really all about what tweaks you can make across the parts of your business that allow you to drive that engagement that you're looking for. So on the supply side, obviously, as a broadcaster, you've got content, you've got to provide it with an experience, and to a certain degree, you've got to get it communicated out in the marketplace. That's what you can control. But from a demand side, from a consumer point of view, or from a fan perspective, you've got to get us using it, right? You've got to get us using the platform. You've certainly got to get us enjoying it. And then we talk about the value for money. And then you've got to get me to pay. And the problem with the whole change is it's not just about I'm signing you up for 18-month contract anymore. I'm signing you up for a monthly contract. So that means you've got to react as a brand every single month in order to keep me subscribed. And, it's a big, big challenge.
What's the biggest challenge for sports businesses as they try and drive subscription growth?
Driving subscription growth, and once you've figured out the right strategy in terms of the supply and demand, the reality of all that is it's data within that actually becomes the real driver towards understanding your subscribers enough to engage, right? And of course, with the fragmented broadcast rights, one of the big challenges is trying to get yourself a picture of your fan, of your customer. And you've got lots of different disparate sources of data out there. And in some kind of rights situations, you don't get any data. So it's a bit of a minefield in terms of trying to understand how you build that picture. But fundamentally, broadcasters will have more data, but for rights holders, for example, the fan engagement, the apps that they have can be the central core towards building out a bigger picture about your subscriber. The problem with all of that is there is a real challenge for these businesses to really activate the data that they have. So it's okay, they've got lots of data. The problem is, how do you activate it so a customer or a fan who's engaging with your service, you can react in real time? That gap we call the air gap. And so it's a fundamental problem across every single type of business, which is, I've got data sitting on my data layer. I've got subscribers engaging with you in my subscriber touch layer, and I can't activate my data quickly enough in order to interact in real time. And really, that's the big challenge. How do I, know what data I need? How do I build that single view of my fan to really base my business decisions on? But more importantly, how do I react with my fans in real time, and effectively bridging that data gap, which is, a fundamental problem at the moment.
We heard that you recently won an award for your Singula subscriber intelligence platform. So can you just explain to us how that works?
We won a virtual NAB award for Singula subscriber intelligence. So we're obviously very proud of that. But so how does it fundamentally work? So the whole premise of the Singula subscriber intelligence platform is all about bridging the air gap. The gap I talked about earlier on, which is how do you activate your data. So we kind of take it into three core areas, or three things that you're trying to understand. The first thing you're trying to understand is, where are my subscribers on the customer journey? So where are they, right? The second question then is, how did that subscriber get to that point, and where are they likely to go? What's their trajectory? So give me the context effectively of what's happening with those subscribers. And then the third element, which is a really big missing piece for most organizations, is, how do I react quickly enough to change that behavior? So what action can I take in order to help me acquire that subscriber, reduce churn, or grow ARPUs, effectively the metrics they're looking for? So subscriber intelligence is all built around those three concepts. Tell me where my subscribers are right now. Give me a lot of insights about what's happening right now and the context behind that. Give me the intelligence. But not only that, I want you to react in real time, and we have the action library for that. So all of that is built from our years of experience.
Can you give us any examples of how your subscription intelligence platform has helped some of your sports clients?
I can give you a couple of examples. So, we ran some programs just at the start of the year around converting customers for one particular sports brand who typically do a 1 month free trial. It's a typical subscription journey, right? So I want to try the system. In this case, it was a month trial. Some people offer 2 weeks, some people offer weeks. It doesn't really matter, but there's a trial period. And what we're looking at is understanding how we can interact and engage at the point of a trial to convert. So what we were able to demonstrate, that the subscriber intelligence driving the engagement actually doubled the number of conversions in that 1 month period, which is huge, right? When you're talking about new acquisitions into the market, into your service. A similar example around ARPU, we demonstrated that you could pick particular groups of customers and materially show an ARPU increase by the way you treat them differently. We saw in some cases up to 66% increase in some segments of ARPU. And from a churn reduction point of view, again, it's about reacting at the right point, depending where you are on the journey. And again, we've seen, certainly across the COVID period, for example, which is, very topical right now, we've seen reductions in churn or protection of up to 25%. So lots of different examples, all different scenarios, but fundamentally the key really is, how do you engage? How do you activate that data to drive that engagement?